just like least upper bound, we have greatest lower bound concept. So I'll just explain you what it is. It is exactly the same. Earlier we are talking about the elements which are just above the given elements. Now we'll be talking about the elements which are just below the given element. Okay, so better I'll take an example and explain you. See this. If you have the partial ordering less than or equal to, let's say we have 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I had to put here, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. This example might not depict the problem, so let me take one other example. Let's say power set and set inclusion. Let's say this is 5 and this is set containing one element A, set containing one element B, and set containing AB. Okay, now earlier we have seen that greatest earlier we have seen the least upper bound of AB. Least upper bound of AB was this. Now what is the greatest lower bound, which means what is the element lower than this for both of them? So this is what we call as meet. So in this case, for A and B, for these two elements, right, greatest lower bound is going to be 5, which means we have to take the element which is less than this, right? So for example, let's take one more example, that D18. So what is D18? 1, 2, 3, I think 6, 9, 18, right? So let me put 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 6 here, 9 here, 18 here. Okay, now just check this. Now in this case, the greatest lower bound of 2, 3 is nothing but 1, which means it is the element lower than this and where these two are going to meet. And similarly, if you take 6 and 3, then the greatest lower bound is going to be 3. So how is it defined? How are we getting this is, see this one. Now if you want an element to be a lower bound, then what happens is that should be related to both of them. Let us say I am talking about element A and element B. If you want an element which is GLB of these two, then that element should be present in the relation like this, right? So which means that should be lower than this in this level. Got it? And the second thing is, if you have any other element, D which is lower to this, any such element, that element should be lower than C, which means C should be like this. So the entire meaning is this: you should, if you are going to find a greatest lower bound, that should definitely be related to both these elements, and if you have any other element which is related to these two, then that element should be lower than that C. Okay, so now check this. This is DC. Okay, now check this. So what I mean to say is, if you take any two elements, let's say 2 and 3, right? So when you are talking about the greatest lower bound, you should find an element which is related to 2 and 3, which means you should have 1, 2 and 1, 3. Yes, it is related to both of them. In case if there are any elements which are related to them, in this case there are no elements, so we can just say that 1 is the GLB. Got it? Now check this, 6 and 9. If you see 6 and 9, now you should find out all the elements which are lower than both 6 and 9. So which means all the elements which are related to 6 and 9. So one is 3 and other is, see this, so one is 3 is lower than these two, as well as you'll even get 1 is lower than these two, right? 1, 6. But then if you see this, you have to take the greater among these two. So how do you know the greater? You have to see which one is lower. So 1 is lower, therefore greatest lower bound is 3. So even though these two elements are meeting here as well as they are meeting here also, we want the greatest lower bound. Okay, so that is the meaning of greatest. When we have two elements like this, one is here and other is here, you are going to take the greatest one, right? So in this case, if you see the greatest lower bound, let's say you want to see the greatest lower bound between 1 and 2, and it is less than or equal to, right? So definitely the greatest lower bound is 1. right? And here also greatest lower bound is 2. And if you take 4 comma 1, the greatest lower bound is 1. So in these examples, these are the standard examples I am taking. So in these examples, one other way of finding out the greatest lower bound is, in case if you are talking about less than or equal to, the greatest lower bound is nothing but the element which is least. For example, if you are talking about 2 and 1, the least element among these two is 1. That is why 1 is the greatest lower bound. And in this case, in case of power set and then the set inclusion relation, the greatest lower bound is nothing but the intersection of the two elements. So in this case, the intersection of A and B is equal to 5, right? And here, in this case, the greatest lower bound is nothing but the GCD. If you try to find out the GCD of 6 and 9, you will see that GCD is 3. For example, if you find out the GCD of 18 and 9, you will find out that it is 9. That is how you can find out. So anyway, with more examples, these concepts will be clear. Here I try to explain you the definition and then some examples, but we are not going to always use this definition. Just by looking at the four sets, it will be easy for us to decide. Okay, with more examples, you will understand it better. Even if you are not able to catch these concepts here, don't worry. By the end of this topic, you will be able to understand it. Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%. But all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities or 50 lakh universities, but whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is, we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.